In the last video, we created the approval card component, and then we showed it inside of our app. Remember, we now want to somehow get the approval card to show a comment detail inside of it, but we do not want to hard code the approval card to always 100% of the time show a comment detail. If we did so, we would then lose out on some reusability around the approval card. For example, we couldn't reuse it to show some arbitrary text inside of there instead. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to make use of a little feature in the props system again. At this point, we've only discussed props as being some property name equals and then value that you pass directly to a component inside of the component tag, like inside that tag right there. But there's another way that we can communicate information into some child component. Let me show you how. Right now, we have an approval card as a self-closing tag right here. I'm going to update this so that it is no longer a self-closing tag. So I'm going to delete that /, and then I'm going to put a closing tag on the other side like so. Now this syntax right here shouldn't look too crazy. It's essentially the same syntax that we use whenever we create a div. We have the opening tag and then the closing tag. So now to communicate this component down to the approval card and tell the approval card that we want it to show the comment detail, we're going to take this closing tag right here, I'm going to cut it, and then I'll put it on the other side of the comment detail, like so. And then I'm going to indent the comment detail. So we are now taking this comment detail component and we are passing it as a prop down into approval card. Yes, we would refer to this as a prop as well, because we are providing some configuration to the approval card component. Now when we pass this thing in, we now have to open up our approval card component. Remember, every function that we put together receives a first argument that we refer to as props. So that component that we just passed in as some configuration to this thing now exists on this props object. Before we make use of it at all inside this file, I want to very quickly console log that props object, just to show you exactly what happens. Okay, so I got my console log there, and now I'll flip back over to the browser. So now inside of my console over here, you'll see that console log. Notice how the application has not changed at all, except for the fact that we're now missing one of the 3 comments that we had before. Let's take a look at the console log of that props object. You can click on that arrow to expand it. You'll notice that the props object now has a single property inside of it called children. We just ignore that __ proto. That's not related to any React stuff or anything like that that we are doing. So we can expand that children object right there. This right here is our comment detail component. So essentially, when we pass one component to another, using this syntax right here, the child component, in this case comment detail, is going to show up inside of the approval card on the props object, and specifically on a property of the props object called the children property. So we could console log out just that comment detail by doing a props.children like so. And if I now save this, our file will automatically rerun. You could ignore, you notice I have that little 403 forbidden there. That's just because I failed to fetch the image. But you'll notice more importantly, the console log right here is now of just the React component itself. So now we can show that thing inside of the body of our approval card. For us in particular, we want to replace this hard-coded "are you sure" with whatever is coming over on props.children. So because we want to reference a JavaScript variable here, props.children, I'll put in my curly braces and say props.children like so. And then I'm going to remove that console log. Okay, so I'll now save this. And if I now flip back over, we can see that my comment detail is now showing up inside of the approval card, just as we intended. Awesome, so that's pretty much it. That is the strategy that we use when we want to make truly reusable components. If we ever want to show some component or some custom content inside of a component, then we will take the child, we will wrap it with a parent component, and then that child component is going to show up inside of the child on the props.children property. It's always going to show up on the props.children. So then we can then take that props.children property and reference it from anywhere inside of our JSX. So if we wanted to instead show the child at, say, the very bottom of the card, then I could cut that out and paste props.children with the curly braces down here instead. And now I'll see that the comment shows up down here at the very bottom of the card, which looks kind of funky, but I think you now get the idea. So for us in particular, we wanted to show it inside of the div with class name content so that it looks like that. Where is it? That right there. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's how we create some reusable components. So now that we know how to do that, I would really like it if we took a pause right here, and between this video and the next, you tried to take this approval card component and use it to wrap both of our other comment details as well. So all you have to do is essentially do the same thing we did right there to show an instance of comment detail inside of our approval card. So quick pause, and we'll go over the solution to this in the next video.